You want to distribute your blog posts. Who does not? You're investing in content marketing. You invest in creating content for your blog, social media accounts, and maybe your mailing list. Who discovers them though, right? Let us go to this philosophical thought experiment from George Berkeley. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? If no one heard it, did it happen? Oh my. If you produce content and no one is around to consume it, did you actually produce the content for real? Kind of philosophical, but very applicable to your business. The beauty of web content is scale. Produce a video once and have it played back 1,000,000 times. Write a blog post once and all your website's visitors can read it over and over again. That's why we love the internet. That's why we love digital marketing. They scale compared to analog means of interacting with your audience. Now, what is the point of preparing for scalability? Or what is the point for creating web content if you're never gonna make use of its scale? Today, we are talking about blog post distribution, so we can actually maximize the best traits of web content. Stay alert because you will get 3 actionable tips by the end of this video. My name is Alan of NorthStories.io, and today we will dive into these 3 hot stories around the web regarding this subject. 1, 2, and 3. Let's go to story number 1. How to overcome the content distribution hurdle. Lessons from someone who had no idea what they were doing. Love these insights from Shannon Byrne. She started off with sharing how they produced great content. But their great content fell on non-existent ears. For sure, if our stuff is great, folks can decide to share our stuff, right? But imagine this. You are competing for your audience's attention. They are scrolling down their social media feed, and much of what they consume were actively promoted by their authors. There's great content everywhere. Some content is promoted, others are not, right? So your content might be equally good, but the ones that reach your audience are the ones that were actively promoted. She outlines other great points like research distribution channels before producing your content. Don't spam forums as they will flag you. Build relationships with influencers, and don't be afraid to keep on sharing your content. So much gold over there. What I'd like to take away from here is the mindset, right? Pay special attention to distributing your content and be super aggressive about it. If you're investing in content production, be more aggressive about distribution, because that is the point of web content, to be scaled, to be distributed. Your 5-minute tip is to review your content distribution budget. How do you spend your budget? How much time and money did you spend on promoting your blog posts, videos, infographics, and other types of content? Now compare that with what it took to produce the content. If you're spending any bit more time producing your content before over promoting it, you might want to review your budgets. If you spend like 2 hours producing content and then you just spend an hour distributing that content, if it's a blog post, you're not maximizing it. Again, if a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Story number 2. Now that we're into the mindset, let us talk about your content everywhere. 17 best tools to get your content to its largest audience. Great time-tested tips by Kevan Lee of Buffer. He listed tons of tools, but one thing stood out to me. They categorized distribution channels as owned, earned, and paid. Super important. Owned media includes your own blog and social media accounts, right? These are accounts, properties that you control. 2. Earned media includes other people's retweets and social media coverage, or media coverage for that matter. Paid media will be exposure acquired through your dollar bills. You want to distribute your content everywhere because that's what we do with web content. We maximize the produced content by getting it seen by more and more people. Your 5-minute tip is to list your own earned and paid channels. Just create an inventory of what is at your disposal. You could easily be losing out on high ROI channels. Why? For example, you could be too busy paying for ads, yet you're not sending your content to your mailing list. With an inventory of all the distribution channels at your disposal, you will be in the position to divide your efforts, allocate budgets, and understand ROI between different channels. Right? So you can budget accordingly. Story number 3 is 16 ways to skyrocket your blog traffic distribution through content distribution by Neil Patel. Yet another great piece. Here he suggests smart content promotion opportunities like number 1, repurpose your blog post into an infographic or short video, right? So you can share that infographic in visual channels. Hustle to get on BuzzFeed. This is not for everyone, but if this is something that you can do, it's gonna be a game changer. Hang out on Quora. You can't just spam Quora. You have to hang out. You got to get immersed. Turn your article into a podcast. Share your article to folks who are on their podcast apps, listening in their cars, but you might have otherwise not reached this audience because they don't tend to read as many blog posts. Submit on niche content submission communities like maybe inbound.org, growth hackers, depending on your niche. All right, your 5-minute tip would be to list your high impact distribution channels. What does this mean? Neil's list of 16 ways to promote your blog post includes some very smart and very specific tips. From getting your way into BuzzFeed to being a trusted member of Quora, you do not just want to spray and pray, right? I know we just talked about getting your content everywhere, but at the same time, you want to allocate your budget, your focus. After identifying your own earned and paid distribution opportunities, you want to see which of them are smarter bets, which of them are more worth your time and your money investment. All right, there you have it. Let us do a recap of the 3 tips. Number 1, you want to review your content distribution budget. 2, you want to list your media channels, including owned, earned, and paid. And finally, you want to list your highest impact distribution channels. Maybe you want to focus on podcasting. Maybe you want to focus on YouTube. Maybe you want to focus on Quora. Maybe you want to focus on getting on BuzzFeed or entrepreneur.com or whatever it might be. But the point is, the mindset here is you want to focus on distribution and identifying your high impact channels. Choose one of the 3 that you will practice today. Pledge your commitment. Tweet to me at Alan Kaig on Twitter. And see you again here next week at northstories.io. Have a great day.